Shall I start?
Hello children, welcome back to our science class. This is your science ma'am speaking. I hope you all understood the part 1 of our first lesson in science. Do you remember the name of the first lesson, children? Yeah, it is nothing but the first lesson name is teeth and digestion. Now we are going to see the second part of our lesson, teeth and digestion, that is digestion. So in the first part already we learned the parts of a tooth, the layers of a tooth and the types of teeth and how to take care of our teeth and some healthy tips for keep your teeth healthy. Okay children, let's move on to the next part. In this part we are going to see the digestion process. While eating, why do we chew food before swallowing it? Shall we do it? While eating, why do we chew food before swallowing it? The food that we eat cannot be used as it is by our body. It has to be first broken down into simpler substances that can be easily absorbed by the body. So this process of breaking down of food particles into simpler substances is known as digestion. So once again I will repeat this digestion definition. Digestion is a sequence by which food is broken down and chemically converted so that it can be absorbed by the cells of an organism and used to maintain vital body functions. Understood children? Next, this process of digestion has 3 main stages. How many stages? This process of digestion has 3 main stages. What are the 3 stages? The first stage is digestion in mouth. The first stage is digestion in the mouth. The next stage is digestion in the stomach. The next stage is digestion in the stomach. The third stage is digestion in the intestines. The next stage is digestion in the intestines. Do you know children? There are 2 types of intestines in our body. One is small intestine, the next one is large intestine. So we have 3 stages of digestion. One is digestion in the mouth, next digestion in the stomach, then digestion in the intestine. Let's see one by one. Before going to the stages, this picture shows the digestive system. Listen the picture carefully children. These are the parts which are involved in the digestion process. First part is mouth. Next, esophagus. Esophagus is nothing but it is otherwise called as food pipe. Then stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, appendix and then finally anus. So these are the parts which are involved in the digestion process. Okay children? So this picture shows the digestive system. Let's see the first stage in the digestion process. What is the first stage in the digestion process? Digestion in the mouth. First, the digestion begins from the mouth. The digestion starts from the mouth. Our teeth break down the food particles into smaller pieces. Already I told about there are 4 types of teeth. What are the 4 types? Incisors, canines, premolars and then molars. These teeth break down the food particles into smaller pieces. Then the mouth consists of salivary glands. These salivary glands produce a liquid called saliva. So a mouth consists of salivary glands. This salivary glands produce saliva. This saliva moistens the food. Moistens means nothing but like a liquid. Okay, so saliva moistens the food and makes it soft. Then it also breaks down the starch into sugar. This saliva breaks down the starch particles which are present in our food and converted into sugar particles. Then this is why the food items such as bread that contains starch. So this is about the digestion first stage, that is digestion in the mouth. The next stage is, what is the next stage? Digestion in the stomach. After the digestion in the mouth, our tongue pushes down the moistened food into a tube-like structure called food pipe. This food pipe is otherwise known as esophagus. 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 Then through the esophagus or food pipe, the food goes into the stomach. This stomach is a hollow bag of muscles. Then the stomach releases some digestive juices that mix with the food and break down the proteins present in our food and converted into simplest form. The stomach releases some digestive juices that mix with our food and break down the food proteins present in the food into simpler form. That's all about the digestion in the stomach. The next stage in the digestion process is digestion in the intestines. Already I told about there are two intestines. One is small intestine, the next one is large intestine. From the stomach, the food goes into a long, thin and coiled tube-like structure called small intestine. Can you see the small intestine, children? So it is a long, thin and coiled tube-like structure. It is known as small intestine. The walls of the small intestine produce more juices, that is digestive juices, that further helps in breaking down the food particles. Then the liver and pancreas also produce some digestive juices that helps to break down the food particles in the small intestine. Understood, children? So what are the parts involved in the production of digestive juices? First stomach, then the walls of the small intestine, then liver and pancreas. These are the four parts which produce digestive juices in our body. Yes. Then the food is now almost like a liquid. After this digestion process, the food is now almost like a liquid. This liquid is absorbed into the blood through the walls of the small intestine. Okay, now the food is almost like a liquid. No, it is absorbed into the blood through the walls of the small intestine. Then the absorbed food is taken by the blood to all parts of the body. Okay, the liquid contains more nutrients. After the digestion process, the food is almost like a liquid. No, that does contain more nutrients. So that food is taken by the blood to all parts of the body. This process of digestion completes here. So the digestion process completes in the intestine. Okay, children? So there are three stages in our digestion process. First stage is digestion in the mouth. Next stage is digestion in the stomach. Next is digestion in the intestine. Shall we move on to the next one? Before going to the next one, Whether all the foods are digested properly? No. There are some undigested foods are there. The food that remains undigested is passed on to the large intestine. The walls of the large intestine absorb the extra water from the undigested food. Let's see, this is the large intestine. The food that remains undigested is passed on to the large intestine. The walls of the large intestine absorb the extra water from the undigested food. This water is passed into the kidney. Do you know the role of kidney? Already you learned in the 3rd standard itself. What is the role of kidney? So the kidney excreted the urinary from the body in the form of urine. So it is finally excreted from the body in the form of urine. The remaining solid waste is removed from the body through the anus. So the solid waste is removed from the body through the anus. Then, so finally, mouth, stomach, liver, pancreas and intestines are work together to help us digest the food. So together they form the digestive system of our body. Understood, children? Next, we are going to see some healthy eating habits. I hope so you all should follow these healthy eating habits. The first habit is we must wash our hands with soap before and after all the meals. Then you must fix a time for eating each of our meals every day. Then we must eat slowly and chew the food properly. You should not swallow the food before chewing. We must eat slowly and chew the food properly. We must avoid overeating. We should avoid drinking water in between and immediately after the meals. So you should not drink water in between and also immediately after the meals. Then avoid exercising or playing immediately after the meal. Understood, children? You should avoid exercising or playing immediately after your meal. You should eat balanced diet. You all know very well about the balanced diet. It is nothing but the diet which contain all the nutrients in adequate quantities. So make sure that you eat a balanced diet which contains all the nutrients in adequate quantities. Understood, children? So you must follow these healthy eating habits in your daily life. Let's move on to the next part. Next part is nothing but microbes. The microbes are otherwise called as germs. So micro means what? Small thing. So the germs are very, very tiny organisms. We already learned that after eating we should clean our mouth and teeth properly. If we are not doing this, what will happen? It results in the growth of tiny organisms or called microbes. There are many tiny organisms all around us. So these tiny organisms are called microbes. We cannot see these microbes with our naked eye. We can see these microbes only with the help of microscope. Under the microscope only we can see these microbes. Then they grow rapidly in warm and moist conditions. In both conditions they can grow very well. Some microbes are very useful and some others can cause diseases. These disease causing microbes are called germs or pathogens. Let's see the kinds of microbes. There are 4 main kinds of microbes. How many kinds of microbes? There are mainly 4 types of microbes. First type we are going to see is bacteria. Have you heard this word, children? Bacteria. B-A-C-T-E-R-I-A. Bacteria. They are single cell organisms. They are found everywhere and in almost everything. They cause diseases such as tuberculosis. We called it as TB. And typhoid and pneumonia are caused by bacteria. So, bacteria are single cell organisms. They are found in everywhere and in almost everything. They cause diseases such as tuberculosis, typhoid and then pneumonia. Okay, children? Let's move on to the next kind of microbe. It is nothing but the second kind we are going to see is viruses. I hope you all heard this word viruses. Yes. So these viruses are smaller than bacteria. It is very, very small than bacteria. Then, what are the diseases caused by viruses? Diseases are chickenpox, dengue, polio, flu and common cold. So these are the diseases caused by viruses. Nowadays, viruses, a good example for viral disease is corona. Okay, children? Then the symptoms varies depend on the viruses. Depend on the diseases. So the symptoms may be vary. Okay, children? Once again I will repeat this. The viruses are smaller than bacteria. The diseases caused by the viruses are chickenpox, dengue, polio, flu and common cold. So one of the example is coronavirus. Okay. The symptoms may vary depends on the diseases. The next kind we are going to see is fungi. They grow on decaying matter. Some fungi can help to make bread soft, such as yeast. Yeast is nothing but it is one of the example of fungi. So I am giving some examples for fungi: bread mold and yeast. Then it can also cause some skin diseases such as ringworm and athlete's foot. What are the diseases? Ringworm and athlete's foot. Some useful fungus are also there. Let us see later. So I will repeat this fungi once again. They grow on decaying matter. Example for fungi are bread mold and yeast. Some fungi can help to make the bread too soft, such as yeast. So it can also cause skin diseases such as ringworm and athlete's foot. And also some useful fungi are also there. Shall we move on to the next kind of microbe? The last kind of microbe is protozoa. P-R-O-T-O-Z-O-A. Protozoa. They are also single cell organisms like bacteria. These protozoa are also single cell organisms. They cause diseases such as malaria and dysentery. So these protozoa are also single cell organisms like bacteria. They also can cause diseases such as malaria and dysentery. Understood, children? Once again I will repeat the kinds of microbes. There are 4 kinds of microbes. The first one is bacteria, next one is viruses, then fungi, the last kind of microbe is protozoa. Apart from these, some useful microbes are there. Some microbes such as bacteria and fungi can also useful to us. Let's see this. Bacteria. What is the use of bacteria? The useful bacteria can change the milk into curd, and they helps in the digestion of roughage in animals. Roughage is nothing but it is a one type of nutrient which is present in the food. So digestion of roughage in animals. They produce vitamins in our body. Some useful bacteria can produce vitamins in our body. They helps in the decay of dead plants and animals. So these are the uses of useful bacteria. Then let's see the uses of fungi. They are used in medicines. Then they are used in making bread and biscuits. So the fungi are used in medicine, and then they are used in making bread and biscuits. Is there any doubt, children? Okay. Thank you, children. This is all about our first lesson. I hope you all understood the two parts of our first lesson. Thank you, children.